People have asked me if I think the statues are so old, how come they look like dynastic Egyptians? I think the answer is it's the other way around. I think the dynastic Egyptians look like the statues. So if you imagine there's evidence for like 5 or 6 of these giant 1,000-ton statues, like which are the typical stuff you see at Luxor with the, the head jet and the Nemes crown or the bowling pin thing on the head, and they're always in that iconic symbolic style of ancient Egypt.
Can you go to some of those?
Yeah, I have the Precision Large has probably got the statues. And imagine that you are a tribal culture that's emerging from this Stone Age, but you have this history and these legends of these stories, and you come across, so this iconic look. And again, this stretches back. This is an Old Kingdom statue. This is made of diorite, by the way. This is called Khafre Enthroned, one of my favorite statues, with the columns from Saqqara in the background.
So this is made out of that same impossibly hard stone.
Yes, it's like a 6.5 to a 7 on the Mohs scale, and it's phenomenal. This is an incredible statue.
And this exhibits that facial symmetry as well.
It looks like it. When you take a step back and look at the whole picture of ancient Egypt, I mean, just you cannot attribute everything that we see in ancient Egypt to our current understanding of those dynastic Egyptians, their capabilities, their tools, their writings, and what we know about them. We know an awful lot. Like we have tools from the ancient Egyptian toolbox. We found them. We have depictions shown on walls of how they did things. They were very good about documenting them. So we have the tools, we have the depictions. We also have lots and lots of artifacts that match those tools and depictions, right? We've got these what are clearly handmade artifacts, and this is across all the categories of artifacts, from things like stonework, columns, obelisks, and vases, boxes, pyramids even. And then you have this other category of artifacts that doesn't match, it can't be explained by these tools and techniques. And there's no depictions on walls of how they made the precision artifacts. Can
you give me an example of these precision artifacts?
Of course, yeah, and any category. I have it in that Tale of Two Industries directory, Jamie, on there. It's the vases are probably the best example. They're a smoking gun example of it.
Here's a 3D printed one.
Yes, these are the smoking gun because they connect to everything else, and we're learning so much about the precision of these things. However, but we could start with statues or boxes or columns. It doesn't really matter. There are 2 categories across all of these artifacts, and the advanced category again. So you can't really make them with the tools that the ancient Egyptians were. We know they were using, that we found. They don't show there's no scenes of building stone pyramids. There's no scenes of them making giant statues, like 1,000-ton statues. This is the type of thing that you see on the wall, and this is in the Tomb of the Nobles up in the West Bank at Luxor. And here they're building mud bricks. So they're firing mud bricks over the fire. You can see them, they're pouring them, they're shaping them, they're carrying them. It's all very relatively primitive. And we know they made mud brick pyramids, they made mud brick ramps, and some of the mud bricks were big and heavy. But we know all about this. What you don't see is the stone pyramid building, the really massive megaliths. The next slide with the vases is a good example. This is what I've been calling the Tale of Two Industries. It's a whole theory that I've been putting together for the last few years. Again, you have a primitive industry that is clearly observably handmade. It lacks precision and symmetry. We found the tools, the Egyptians drew the scenes, the artifacts matched the tools and techniques, and then you have this advanced industry, visibly sophisticated, usually very hard stone is the other characteristic. The primitive stuff is usually softer stone, although not always. These artifacts, as we're doing analysis on them, are showing this depth of precision and complexity that's phenomenal. The vases are just, this is where they become a smoking gun to this whole argument, I think.
Can you, for people that don't know about this stuff, can you just give them some numbers on what?
Sure. So yeah, the vases go back to pre-dynastic times. There's no debate that these are pre-dynastic. They predate what we would call the dynastic civilization. And over the last few years, we've been starting to analyze them. We, the vase scan team, various groups of people now, have been scanning these with modern technology, LiDAR scanning, like laser scanning, even CT X-ray scanning. And basically, they're coming back with precision in terms of circularity, flatness, like centering, numbers that are very much equate to some of the best industrial processes that we do today in things like aerospace industry. So where it's really important to be within 2 or 3 or 4 thousandths of an inch of perfection for like the parts we make for jet engines or rocket engines. And there's some samples of the stone there in front of you.
So
from
this
vessels.
Is the actual stone.
These are actual pieces from vessels. Yeah, they got a private collector.
You just gotta think, like, who made this and how old is this? How old is
this
what I'm
piece? at least 5,000-6,000 years. I think it potentially quite older, and we can get into how old I think. But so that's the other challenge that is rarely talked about is the material. Like these things are made from granite, diorite, rock crystal. That thing's rock crystal, basically quartz.
It feels so hard.
It's insanely hard. Yeah, all these different. Oh yeah, it's.
Ooh.
There's even examples that get even thinner than that. Flinders Petrie talked about a diorite vessel that was 1/40th of an inch thick. He called it the thickness of stout playing card. Wow. Yeah, this is it here.
Wow, look at the light going through it.
That's about 2 millimeters thick. That one's one of Matt Bell's vases. It's probably my favorite. It's typically called the thin-walled vase, but it's a phenomenal piece. I'm amazed it's actually survived this long because that's one of the rare few delicate ones. You could break that because it's so thin. Because, again, with this type of stone, it gets really brittle. And it's like glass, like a cube of glass, bang that on anything.
Right.
But thin glass shatters. Same as this stone, yet they did this again and again and again and again.
How do we know that this is pre-dynastic?
Well, from where they're found. I mean, they're literally found in pre-dynastic burials. This is why the vases are so important to me. And why I think they're the smoking gun. It's one of the big reasons. Because they've been found in burials that are 100% pre-dynastic. Nakata culture, Nakata 2. You can go to any museum that has a reasonable collection of these and find them in the pre-dynastic section all over. There's no debate. Like, they're found in these burials and they carbon date the burials or they culture date them, or reference date them to periods of thousands of years prior to the dynastic Egyptian civilization. There's good evidence that they may even stretch back as far as 12 to 14,000 BC, that they're in burials that go back that far in like southern Egypt, northern Sudan area. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's a lot of those burials, unfortunately, today are underwater because of the dam that created Lake Nasser. I would say today there's easily over 100,000 hardstone vessels for sure. I mean, they found 50,000 of them in one spot. Like, that's the famous discovery at the Step Pyramid. But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot. I think there were even more. Like, this was an industry. Like, that's the other key. And a lot of these are semi-exotic types of stone too. We don't know where the stone came from.
It's not local?
In a lot of cases, no. There's lapis lazuli artifacts that are pre-dynastic, and there's no known quarry for lapis in Egypt. The closest one's Afghanistan.
What?
Right. Yeah. Well,
How far is Afghanistan from Egypt?
Must be. It's right over on the other side of the Middle East, I think, isn't it? It's over towards. Yeah, it's up towards Russia and China.
Thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear from you in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next one.